Hello, this is Sudhakar Moparty again. Today we have a group of engineers, young engineers who are going to get into the corporate world in next few months. And I have the opportunity to mentor them and prepare them towards a web development uh, type of work, and also towards cloud computing. And in this process, we are going to explore together how we can create an automated system that takes advantage of chat GPT, and then puts it in Skillbanc and automates the kind of things that we generally do manually to maintain the infrastructure of an enterprise for the cloud. So that's the idea. So today is the first session with a batch of I think 17 people, but whoever is available, we will work with them today. And good luck, and let's get started. All right. So the first thing that I want to talk to you guys about the vocabulary that we have to establish to teach the Skillbanc machine. This is part of the crowdsourced AI project that I have initiated this year. So for all those people who are not in this group right now, and if you are interested, please join me and connect with us on LinkedIn, and we'll be happy to explore together and then share this knowledge. Okay. So today we're going to test the understanding level of. Okay, so Skillbanc training key terms you are going through.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Should I ask a question to my fellow mates?
Yes.
Okay, then I would like to ask to Niharika, like, what is a simple object?
Yeah, good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. This is Niharika. To answer Akshaya's question, basically, simple object is a leaf node where there is no connection between the other objects. It's displayed separately. Whereas a complex object, to differentiate a simple and complex object is a combination of simple objects.
Or other complex objects.
Yeah, or other complex objects.
Right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, good.
So I had a small doubt in this key
Yeah.
terms. Can I just ask it?
Yes.
Okay.
What are display groups to my fellow teammate, like fellow mates?
Pick an
Good morning, sir.
Yeah, good morning.
Yeah, I'm sharing my screen. So she asked me what are display groups. So I'm in the timesheet app right now. So display groups are these circle icons. These are the tasks you can perform in every project.
Is that correct?
Is that correct?
You have to ask whoever asked you the question.
Hemanjali?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Display groups are done in every project?
No, they'll be done in tasks.
These are tasks 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 that I'm seeing here.
These
Are
are
these
the
tasks?
display functions that are available in a task or a project.
You guys used the term task. What do you mean by task here in this display group? What are display groups?
The display groups are the circles which specify certain functions that we can go to perform certain operations on a task.
What is
Like
what is the
such as-
purpose? What is the purpose of the display group? What are we grouping?
Sir, can anyone also answer?
Huh?
Yeah.
Any
Can you?
other can also answer?
Yes.
Yes, Parth.
So, sir, display groups actually is a collection of similar elements, sir, wherein we segregate them based on our requirement. If we are taking timesheets, if we go into the timesheets display group, sir, we have the completed task wherein we can segregate and check whatever aspect we want to check it off a list, sir.
Yeah. If you are speaking, you have to share and show the screen, because otherwise we don't know what we are talking.
Got it, sir. Sir, example, I'm in my tasks, and here are the display groups, the 4 display groups. So display groups are actually a combination of similar elements but they are categorized in a different way. Suppose my display group 1 shows me the current task, whatever I'm doing or whatever my fellow mates are doing. The completed task shows the tasks which are completed, the deleted task shows the tasks which were deleted, and the subtasks are the nested tasks which are a task within a task. So if we see, sir, all of these come under one category, which are tasks, but then they are segregated into different elements according to our needs.
That's right. So because I cannot show all the data in one page, I divided them into groups. If I have to say in one sentence, that is what is happening here. Because the information that I want to display about an object. An object has a lot of other objects. That's what somebody said. What is a simple what is a complex object? A complex object is an object consists of other complex objects or simple objects. Because I cannot show all the sub-objects in one place, in one page, I divided them into groups. So I put a collection of sub-objects under one group, second group, third group, fourth group. But they are all part of the main object that I am describing. In few sentences, that is what it is. Is that your understanding?
Yes, sir. That is what I was exactly
Okay.
my idea of the display groups. Yes.
Okay, that's fair. For day 1, explaining in that succinct way is difficult, but that is what we are trying to describe in those key terms. The purpose of a display group and why they exist. Whenever in software systems that we build in the enterprise, there is always a problem that we are trying to address. So what's the problem that we are trying to address here? The problem is how can we display all the information in such a way that it will not overwhelm the user, and at the same time it loads the page quickly. So if I have 1,000 sub-objects, then I only have one display group, then all the 1,000 will be shown in that one display group. So it will take a long time for that page to load. Or the information that I am interested may not be there in that. Maybe one or two things that I'm interested in out of those 1,000 sub-objects. Now I'm waiting for all the other objects to load so that I could see my piece of data that I'm interested in. Good. All right. You ask a question to somebody now.
Yes, sir. I'd like to pose a question to Palak. I just want to know what are the tabs in the website, in the Skillbanc's website, and how do they help us to navigate across different fields?
Keep sharing the screen until if the other person wants to share.
I just want to know what are these tabs helpful for? Like, what is the function of these tabs?
These tabs are helpful for switching from switching one tab to another tab. It's like a shortcut for switching tabs, like from one task to different task.
Okay.
Yes, yes, that is according to what my understanding was too.
You are always saying the word, using the word task. Is what is the reason? You're saying all these are tasks, all these tabs.
So these are not tasks. Basically, these are just like a tab
Objects.
with objects. Like when we open a
they are
for
objects.
Example, yes,
That's it.
Basically,
That's it. You don't have to explain. If you are all software engineers, I'm assuming that you know what is an object.
Yes.
Okay. And if not, we will also ask that question to people, and then somebody will answer. And that's the first question that was already answered. There are objects in this world. Okay. And an object can be described in terms of other objects. So we are opening objects, we are displaying them, and everything that you see on the screen is an object. Everything. Okay.
Should I ask?
So what we are doing is tabs means we are opening each object and we are looking at the sub-objects associated with that particular object. And we're looking in display group number 1, few objects, sub-objects. And then display number 2, we are seeing some other objects. And like that, we can see whatever we want. Sometimes I'm interested in number 1, sometimes I'm interested in number 3, depending upon what I'm doing after I open that object.
Okay.
Palak, you ask a question.
Yeah.
You share your screen and ask.
a question about what is the difference between add new X and create new X. I would like to ask question to Jay Ganesh.
Sure.
So these are the current tasks, right? So this is the functionality for creating a new task. And we have to give it a name. So here we have to give it a name and the description, and it will reflect on the current tasks.
Okay, so is that the right answer for your question?
Like we are, this is one extent of creating a object. Like, so we are. So the objects we are creating will be reflected right here for the current tasks. Like creating a task, it will reflect here. So for adding the task, I don't know what it is.
Okay, Palak, you have answer for that?
What is the question? Repeat the question, Palak.
So what is the difference between create new task and add new task? Create new X and add new X.
Yeah.
So here X is an object, right? So we are creating an object with the system generated name.
That is correct.
So as for the
every object should have a name, And if you do create new, the system will put a name for you.
Yes. As for coming to the add new X, the user can define the name for the
Correct.
object.
Yes, correct.
Good answer. Okay, now it's your turn to.
What are the reward points? So can I ask the question to?
Yeah.
I don't know the exact how it exact working of it. I don't know how it works, but according to my understanding is I have constantly observed it increasing when there is a addition of task or completion of task. When there is some new task added or some new area explored, then I see the number increasing, or which is not the same. I used to have 46 before, now I have 124 after doing the SVJ slide. So I think it's like a reward for completing a task or adding a new task which is unexplored.
Okay.
According to my understanding, it's that.
Okay, let me correct a little bit. Except the task, the word task, I will replace that with the word object. When you are navigating, when you are creating, when you are producing anything in Skillbanc web portal, you are creating objects. As you are creating objects, whether they are complex objects, simple object, whatever, everything is an object, right? And that counter will increase to designate and track that you created those many objects so far. So this will give me an idea about how many objects, how much work being done by one person as opposed to other person. If somebody has 3,000 objects and somebody has only, say, 50 objects, it tells me that that person hasn't spent enough time and produced work or completed their tasks. They just navigated, probably, but not produced the output. So every time you produce why do you create an object? You create an object to accomplish something. So as a tracking mechanism, I put that reward point out there, and as a point for doing the work. Any further question on that?
So, excuse me, sir.
Yes,
So these reward points vary for every object to object.
Every object carries 1 point.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Sai Kiran, it's your turn to ask a question now.
Yes, ma'am. I would like to ask question to Satvika. Like, what is timestamp and what is how does it help us? Like, if we miss a work and we keep adding the timestamp later, right? How does it help?
Yes, I can. Thank you for the question. I'm sharing my screen. Yeah, this is the projects section, and I'm going to go into the timesheet. Yeah, so here what happens is whenever we accomplish a task or whenever we finish some project or we are done doing something, and what happens is in the start of our work, we switch on the task and then we switch it off after we are done. So how can we detect and track how long we have worked on a specific task? That thing is tracked here. Once we start a task, what happens is the time starts counting there, and once we stop it, once we switch it off, it comes and settles here, and we can see here how long we have worked on it. So these are all the timestamps that will show for each task they have switched on. And if I scroll down here, I have an adjustment timesheet. So in the adjustment timesheet, for example, if I am doing something and I forgot to turn on the task, then what happens? Then I might have accomplished the task, but then the progress that I've actually worked, the proof of working hours and everything will not be visible. And I would like to keep track of how long I have worked on a specific task and what happens then. For that and for presentation purposes, adjustment timesheet. Once we know, but once we realize we haven't created a task, we come here, we create a new adjustment timesheet, and then what we do is we write down why we forgot, how many hours we worked on it, and then we add a reference to which task we are talking about. So when we do that, later on when we come back and revisit this, we will know how much time we have spent on a specific task and what all work we have done. It is like a log information of everything that we have done on the Skillbanc website. Everything will be recorded here. So like you see, the reference ID is here, and then we have the date of when we started when we have done it, and then the hours. So again, the hours, as we have told, are not in like hour, like each hour format. It's basically like, now suppose 2.98 means 2 hours, and 100 minutes, number 100 represents 1 hour. So I have approximately worked for 3 hours on creating an SVG template, something like that.
Slight correction.
Yes, sir, please.
2.98 hours.
Yeah,
Okay,
yes.
There it is not 2 hour 98 minutes, 2.98 hours.
Okay.
So if I want to get the minutes, I can get 0.98 divided by 60.
60. Okay.
So that is what, those are the main.
Okay.
No, multiplied by 60, not divided by 0.98.
Okay.
Multiplied by 60.
Which is 58 minutes.
Yes.
Yes, sir. 58 minutes. So 2 hours.
Whatever is the number. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's how the timesheets work. That's the brief of how timestamps work.
So all your time is tracked. If you're switching on, switching off, the system will automatically track the time spent on that task, and we can accumulate, and we will know for project management point of view. In software, in the enterprises, we need to track how much time a task is taking. Sometimes a task is done by multiple people. You do your part and somebody else will do their part. So because that one task is assigned to 5 people. So all together over a period of 1 week or whatever, or same day, when that gets completed, I know what is the total time taken to complete that task, and who contributed, how much effort went from the members. Okay. So you have a clear distribution of who contributed, and that will help us in estimating next time when we do a similar task. We can plan and estimate, and that would be used in the project plan. Okay. Every project will have a plan. A project plan consists of a lot of tasks, and so I can put a 6 months project plan together, and in 6 months we are going to accomplish this. And that's what we are trying to do here also, what we are going to accomplish in this next 6 months. So that's how these timesheets are attached. Timesheet objects are attached to a task. And if I summarize those timesheets, hours, then I will get some details about the task, how long it took. Very good explanation. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Now it's your turn to ask a question. The purpose of a subtask.
Satvika, can you please elaborate a little bit more?
Yes, ma'am. Like sir said, what is the purpose of a subtask? Why do we reach out for a subtask? And if we want to reach out for a subtask, how do we accomplish it? How can we create a new subtask? Because
sir, actually, we have been working how to create a task So basically,
No, wait a minute. Answer the question. Okay, so yeah, this is related to that. What is the purpose of a subtask?
yeah, yes.
Okay.
Um, Actually, yes, I don't know exactly what. I know what is the purpose of subtask to accomplish the task. A task is a combination of subtasks. Similarly, as I answered, the object and simple object and complex object. But I don't know how to create it. So as far as now, within 2 days, we have not done with the subtask.
Go to a display group number 8. Okay. Don't do anything here. Okay. So a task has other tasks. It's recursive.
Yes.
So if I want to break a task into many more subtasks, I can do that here and then I can assign. So it's a grouping. Basically, the top level one would be a group task, and then the same thing like complex object and simple objects. Complex task and a simple task. A simple task will not have. So basically, complex X, simple X. So if I substitute instead of object, you can say object can be anything, right, of type. So it's a recursive thing. A task has other tasks. And those other tasks are nothing but subtasks, right?
Yes, sir.
Is that satisfying answer? Who asked the question?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yes.
And what is the subsequent question? You are combining a lot of questions. What is it?
Yeah. Basically, what is a task? Why do we use it, and how do we create it? So again, if we press on that create new button, we'll be able to create a new subtask.
Yeah, it's a task. It's a task. I'm just using the word subtask. I'm just using the word subtask because we humans, we don't say task has task, right?
Yeah.
We say task has subtasks, but what we meant is they're all tasks too, right?
Yeah.
But in computer science, it's called recursion. So a task has another task. So you can have your own type in a recursive manner, which is a powerful concept which you will appreciate when you do some of the other things, programming and then automating and all that. So this recursion helps us a lot because we don't have to deal with another type of object.
If there are multiple projects that you have been assigned to, is there any way to create a shortcut? Suppose there are a number of say 50. So is there any way to create a shortcut instead of navigating and scrolling down to all this? Is there any way to navigate that easily?
Yes, Niharika. Thanks for the question. Yeah, let me share my screen. If you see over here, let me go to my project section. Yeah, here is my project section, and let's say not only 5 projects are there, 50 projects are there. Like here you can see a star symbol, like it says add to favorites, and once we do this, it will add like this. We can see like an icon over here, my SVG template slide app, and if we go again to my tasks, and if we don't do this, we have to go again to the my projects and select that. But as we chosen that as a favorite one, it will be present over here only. So we can simply access from here. Yes, sir. I think.
Yeah. Why do we do this favorite thing? What problem are we trying to solve?
Yeah, yes, sir. Like imagine here there are, for example, there are 5 projects. If we say in the future we have added more and more projects to the section, imagine they're in 50s and 100s in number. Like we want to go to that again and again.
Exactly.
Like we may require for that. Like so, if we add to the favorite one, it will be present simply over here.
All right. Because generally you will not be working on 1,000 projects, but you will be working on maybe 3-4 projects. Okay, maybe this month you may be working on 5 projects. So if you want, out of those 1,000 projects, if you want to have your 5 things here, so with one click you will be able to open that object.
Yes, sir.
So every time we do anything as software engineers, we're trying to solve some problem. So always ask, what problem am I solving? What's the solution? Is this, how many clicks does it take to solve that problem? And can I reduce the number of clicks? This is how you will improve a system and its efficiency.
Yes.
Thank you. Hey,
how can we make a task as a current task?
So here these are all our tasks. So to make one as our current task, we will go through this custom actions, and then we'll switch one as a current task. Currently, this is active for me. Yeah, so it says already switched on.
I have one small query. Can we switch on a task which is created by someone else so that we can take over their task?
Yeah, just like how Kirti ma'am has assigned one task to us, I am fulfilling that task now. Yeah.
Good.
So
if a task is assigned to multiple people, all those people can switch on that task as their current task. So everybody gets their own current task.
Is a grid, and what are the components of a grid?
So actually, this represents a grid. The current task, the whole box of it, and the components are ref and current task, according to my understanding.
Yeah, that's right. And what are ref, current task, and task?
Oh, okay. These are the objects.
They're classes.
Yeah, they are the classes, and the reference number ID it has, they are the objects of.
The values are objects.
Yes, sir.
An object belongs to a class.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So the value, the data that you see is the object name, object detail, the value, and the type of object is class.
Yes, sir.
The purpose of a custom action.
Custom action shows us the functions we can perform on a task. We can either make it as our current task or move to deleted tasks or prioritize tasks.
That is correct. Again, I say custom action, you are making some functions on top of that object. Object is a very general word, right?
Yes, sir.
Task is a specific object type. A custom action is a function that is operated, that operates on an object. You see how generic it is now? It is like A plus B equal to C.
Yeah.
All right,
yes,
I can
sir.
put A and B, any values, 2 plus 5, 5 plus 9, anything I want, A plus B. So A plus B is what my answer is a formula that I'm giving. And then when you say, okay, I can switch on a task, that's a custom action example on a task object. Switch off a task is a custom action, a function on a task object. So when you click that, there is some method behind the scenes on the server, it executes that function. Right?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
For all those people who are familiar with object-oriented programming classes, objects and methods. That method is nothing but your custom action, a function.
My question is, what is this ID? What is this ID number? And is this the rating that we give to the current task if the ID is generated for a task? See, for example, the attendance app has different ID and my projects has different, and every single task or object we are creating, I guess, yeah, this. Can you please explain what is this ID and what is this referred to?
I think this is a serial number that is linked to the task. Like by clicking this, we can refer to the task. I think.
Okay. Satvika?
Yeah, I pretty much think the same. For example, when you're creating a new task by getting a reference ID, I think this is something similar to that. Every object is probably referred to with an ID. So I think this ID also refers, because this is an object, I think this is an object reference ID. That's what
Perfect
I
answer.
understood.
Perfect answer. Okay. So everything should have an ID. Every object should be uniquely identified by the system. Otherwise, how will I be able to differentiate between two objects? So if you create 10 tasks, 10 different IDs will come. And those IDs are nothing but that reference ID that you see in the grid. When you go to My Tasks, you see reference ID. Any grid, if you go to any grid, it doesn't matter My Tasks. Any grid, you see that reference ID, and if you edit that particular, if you open that object, you will see that number there. That number that you see on the top and that number that you just opened is the same. So it's just showing that if I have to refer to somebody, hey, go to that ID, task ID, I can just tell 8674, last 4 digits. So then they can easily open that object just for communication purpose. But the machine needs to differentiate, and that's why the stars, Satvika.
I'm not really sure of I think after you complete a task and you have submitted it, I think that's an evaluation, or how good or how complete is something like that. If someone is referring or checking into our work, maybe that's how they can tell how complete it is or how good it is, or if we need kind of like a feedback. That's what I
That's
think.
a good word that you used, feedback. That's exactly what it is meant for. It's a feedback from the user as to how satisfied they are about that object and the details and the way it is presented and whatnot. Is it easy to use? Is it, did I get what I wanted about that object? If I'm opening a bank account, I need to go and then fill a couple of fields, then some more fields, and then I'm done. I'm able to do that activity in less than 5 minutes. Is my experience good? Yes. So then I can give 5 stars. If as part of that process, if in step number 3, let's say, I have these 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, all these different display groups. In number 2, I found it a little confusing. I don't want to give 5 stars. I want to give only 2 stars. But step number 1 is perfect. It's so easy. Or whatnot. So like that, for every step or display group and the information that we are presenting, is it good and useful? You like it? It's like a like button. So you want to give me 5 stars or you want to give me 2 stars. If you give me 2 stars, then maybe you have a suggestion. Then that will become a requirement for our developers, for software engineers to go back and review that feedback and then incorporate that in the next version. So that's the purpose of those stars. So there should, in any system, you should have a feedback mechanism to improve the system. So this is that is the problem we are trying to solve using those features, those buttons.
Yes, sir.
All right. Okay. So we're going to take a 10-minute break, and then we will reassemble and continue this. Thank you.
So my question is, what does a logged object represent? So we can see that there's a representation of a log in every task when we open it. So I want to ask, what does it exactly do? I would like to ask to Sai Kiran. So this is the log mechanism that I wanted to ask about.
So basically, I think the lock is like safe to edit, or like when you want to edit, you unlock it and then edit. And when it is done, it's logged. Or when it is in a saved state, it is just logged to indicate that it is in a saved state, or this is where you left earlier. So there is no misclicks or delete by mistake or editing of values with unknown values. Like if the cursor is hovering around somewhere and you click it somewhere and you type it off something, then you might not know where the mistake is or what you changed by mistake. So I think the lock mechanism is used for that. It is like safer when you want to edit, and you edit it manually, unlocking it.
What's the difference between big lock and the small lock?
So small lock is basically, it represents each and every component of the object that we have. Each one of them itself has a lock, because there will be values associated with each and every one of them. So whatever values that we are assigning to the instances of the object, those also have to be saved. So the lock will represent individually for all the components of the object as well. So you have one for the class itself, like this, that will immediately open the locks for each and every one of them, and once you close it, it will just not allow you to change it any further. And you also have individually locks assigned to each and every component of the object as well.
Okay. The problem that we are trying to solve here is to protect the data by mistake. By mistake, if somebody changes, so we want to protect that data, and that's why we provided this lock mechanism. If it is locked, that means you can't change it. You type it, you won't be able to change it. That's the problem we are addressing with that small lock of each object editing. Because you see here, nowhere you will find a save button. That means the system is auto-saving it. One less click to worry about. So you just type it in, it's already automatically saved. Once it is saved and you lock it, you don't have to lock it. If you refresh it, then it will be locked. If you go out, it will be saved, but it will still be unlocked because the system thinks that you are still making changes. But whatever you type, it's saved, so it's guaranteed. The big lock will unlock all the sub-objects that you see under that display group. So suppose if I want to edit multiple fields, I don't want to click each field individually. I want to click the big lock and then I enter all the 3 fields. But after a couple of days time, if I come back to this object, at this point, I only want to change one field. So I will unlock just that field, what I'm interested in, and I change it. That's the difference between the big lock and a small. One question. We see on a grid,
Yes,
there is
sir.
a search button. What is the purpose of that search button?
we have many objects inside the grid. We have many things going on. So
share
Yeah,
your screen and
sure.
and show us what is the purpose and what is your
Sure.
understanding of that object, of that
Yeah.
button.
Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Yeah. So basically, right now we are inside projects, and these are the 5 projects that right now we've been given access to. So at a point of in further time, we might have many other projects. So there might be like 10, 15, 20, sometimes even more than that. And when that happens, we might not be in a position where we can scroll through everything and search for the exact thing that we need. So I think this text is basically like it helps us search through our list to find the required object. For example, if let me try. I have searched this before. Let me try right now. And suppose if I wrote my SVG and I want to search, let us see. Yes, see, we've got a result. So basically, it takes the keywords that we are giving it. We can give a few keywords or many, and then it will match that with the current instances that we have inside of the grid. So, and then whatever is the best suitable result for it, we might get it. That's my understanding of the search button. This is the
Good
same with
answer. So what problem are we solving here? We are solving the problem is it takes lot of time to go through. If we don't have that search button, search feature, if I have 1,000 objects, I have to manually go through each one of them to find out the object that I'm interested in. So the way you solve that problem is by providing a search mechanism. And search is a very powerful concept. And that's why Google is very powerful, because it is the world #1 company in search.
So under every grid or every task we go in, there's 2 buttons called public and private, right? So I wanted to ask what these indicate, these public and private buttons.
I'm sharing my screen. I'm exactly not sure, but I'll take a random guess if that's okay, sir. Sir, what I feel is like public is wherein the viewing options, the read option is present for everyone within the community, and private is for wherein if you want to showcase your tasks or the specific objects to a certain number of people, to a certain specific people, then we use the private column, the private function.
Even I think it's about public or private. What I thought is like public is like many people included in it. Like let's refer in the aspect of tasks or objects. When it is created for multiple people, it is viewed in a public page. Or when you create a task or object is assigned particularly to you, I think it's listed in the private section. That's what I thought or I understood when I saw those things in the first place. So I think his explanation matches
the question. What is private means in general?
Private in general means, for example, private to you or private to a certain number of people that you allow the people to access, that you will allow.
So in computer science, private means it's just you. Okay. If you allow somebody else to have access to your object, that means you are sharing that object. Okay. Public means nobody has control. Everybody has access to that object. An object, and if that object is assigned, if a task is, we'll take an example. Why we are going back to task object is because that's just to demonstrate the concept, but it applies to all grids. Okay, every grid has a public and a private space. Anything that you create under private is only accessible to the creator. Nobody else has access to that object. So when they open a task, that is, let's say I assign a task to 2 people. and they both can open that object. In the public, they will be able to see the details. Okay. But in the private, if one of them creates an object, that object will not be visible to the other person, even though that object, that original object that opened, is assigned to both the people. The sub-objects that you are creating under private are not available to the other person, are meant to solve the accessibility issue and keep some objects, sub-objects, private for some time, and then we provide some custom actions on those private objects to make them public or shared, or do some actions on those objects by the creator. The creator can take some custom actions on those objects and then make it available for others.
So, what is the function of this C1, C2 diagram, class 1, class 2 diagram?
Okay, we will go there after we understand what is C1, C2. So can you tell me what is C1, C2?
It is class 1 and class 2, sir.
So there are two classes.
Yes, sir.
Why there are two classes?
The segregation between different segments of different classes. Suppose if we consider this is one set of classes, and if we see the system timesheets and the other adjustment timesheets, these are another set of classes. So we segregate them based on classes C1, C2.
Okay, so system timesheet is what? C1 or C2?
C1, sir.
Okay, what is C2 for system timesheet?
Reference system timesheet, is delivery, is deployment, is marketing, is admin, date, hours, task, description.
All those are C2s for the C1. For the C1 called system timesheet.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Can you give an example of another C1 here? And then C2.
In this page, sir, or shall I navigate to somewhere else?
You can navigate anywhere you want.
Okay.
Without navigating here, you already have two other grids. Okay, that's fine.
If we see here again, sir, the tasks here, this is C1, and this is again the class sub C2 class, wherein we have all the C2 elements.
Okay, scroll down. So here you see the name here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so is this a C1 or a C2?
I don't think this comes under C1 or C2, sir, because there is no hierarchy in this category. There is only one class.
Okay. Anybody else
by
can
default,
answer that?
Can we take it as C1? Because there are no child classes.
What is the object that you are currently, what is the main object? My main object here, or main class here?
Main class is the name, sir, and the object is the input which we give in the field, the text.
Sir, I happen to believe that this name itself is an instance of the class and it's not a separate class itself.
We said what is a tab? What is tabs showing you? Each tab opens an object.
Yes, sir.
And that object has sub-objects.
Yes, sir.
And a group of sub-objects are put together in a display group.
Yes, sir.
What is the display group here and how many sub-objects are shown here? Name is one. Scroll up. Task is another grid subclass. Task is one class. Name is another class. Scroll up. Current task is another class. Under the display group 1, we have 3 subclasses. Current task, task, and name. They are grouped. Right?
Yes, sir.
Those are sub-ops. Those are classes. Okay.
Okay.
And current task has one object at this point of time on the screen that I am seeing. One current task object is there. Scroll down. There are 7 task objects, 7 rows, and there is one, scroll down, one name object which is empty right now. So those are the three classes: current task, task, and name.
Okay, sir.
Under the main class, which is, what is the main class? Scroll up. Task app. Okay, highlight that above. Task app. You see, just above that line. Yeah, that is, what is that?
The main class.
That is the main class. Under that, you have current task, task, and name as subclasses under that display group number 1. Go to completed tasks. Here you have, under the main class task app, you have completed task as a subclass. And how many objects are there in the completed task?
None yet.
None yet. 0. Okay. So the C1 really, if I open an object, whatever object I'm opening, that is C101. Scroll up. Highlight that C1. C1. Up. Yeah, task app. That is C101. C1 colon O1. C1 name colon O1 name. I'm telling this is task app of Bhargav.
Yes, sir. Class 1, object 1.
Class 1 and C101 is connected to this C2O2. C1, C2. It's connected. This C1 is connected to lot of C2s. Well, this circle represents the class, and inside the dots represent the objects. Okay, C1O1, sorry, C1 C2, and this would be O1, and I can give O1 1, O1 2, like that. I can name whatever I want. So, any questions, Bhargav, on this understanding? They are connected like this.
Sir, O12, does it mean class 1, object 2 of class 1?
No. If an object is inside whatever circle, it belongs to that. Suppose this is our task app. This is C1 equal to task app.
Got it.
Bhargav is this O1.
Got it, sir.
Now you have a current task. This is C2 is current task. Okay.
Yes.
And you have only one current task. Okay. So we should erase this if I want to represent this correctly. Okay, so this is current task. You only have one arrow. Now we go to another class called task. This is also C2 only. Under, I have 7 objects here. They are all connected to
O1.
O1. From O1 they are connected. So these are 7 task objects. And then you have one name object. So what is the total number of sub-objects under O1? 1 here, 7 here,
8, 9,
and then 1 here. So total 7, 1, 2, 9 objects under current task. Under completed task, you have 0 objects. So there's no arrows. So I should not draw this. They are not there yet. But it is possible to put some there. Deleted tasks, same thing, we don't have any. And go to subtasks app, we don't have any objects. So 2, 3, 4, it doesn't have any objects. So total number of sub-objects for O1 in this scenario assigned to, do we have anything assigned to? Scroll down. 0. Yeah, everything, if it is 0, since you created yourself, it is not assigned to anybody, it's yours. Okay, so you have access to it. But if you assign that to Sudhakar, then I will get access to that task object, and then I will be able to see all these 7 objects. 7. C2 concept. They are connected. They are not inheritance. This is not inheritance here. But it's just a connection. There's a starting and there's an ending. That arrow represents from where we are connecting. I can connect sometimes from here to here and then back to here, both ways. So anything can be connected to anything, if it makes sense. It has to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, don't connect. To diagram. Okay, go there. Yeah, click on that. So that's a task app C1, Bhargav O1, and there is an arrow put to current task, and that's your one current task. And you have a task, and you have a whole bunch of tasks, 7 of them, and then you have one name object. So it is just representing pictorially what I just explained and what you are seeing under display group number 1. Under display group number 1, we have 3 sub-objects called three subclasses called current task, name and task. And under tasks, ideally this diagram should display 7 dots, but right now we are just conceptually we are talking. But when we upgrade the system to display 7 dots, then it will display 7 dots. Click on that task dot. Yeah, that second one. Or maybe that link, SVG template. Yeah, click on that. So that's ideally it should show 7, representing 7 connections, and in the name it should not show any dots, and in current task it should show only one task. Oh, sorry, one object. Each dot is an object that belongs to a particular class, and those arrows, which I just draw manually, but this is automatically the system is generating these diagrams. Is that clear?
The production support, the production support tab that we have
Share your
under
screen.
my task. Yeah, sure. Just 1 second. Yeah, this thing, production support. Like, what is it exactly? And I what is production support?
So I did not go through it yet, but what I gather from it is when you can you click on that for me, please?
Yeah,
I
sure,
guess,
sure.
when you click on it, it launches a Zoom meeting. So from that, I guess that whenever some user needs information about a task or an object or a class, or generally the product that we are displaying them, so it is how the production or something is managed, or how the clients are explained to about what the project is or about what a task is. So I think that's what is production support. I hope it's clear.
Yeah, even I think so too, sir. When I clicked on the link, Zoom meeting open, so I thought it's kind of like a user manual, or someone from the developer side, if they need something and they want to review the previous work and they want to know what's happening, so probably they might come here and visit this meeting and get their doubts cleared.
Okay, Satvika, why we are calling this as production support? What is the word production mean?
Basically, here I think production is basically it implies for the developers. I think it's for them because they are trying to develop something new into the website, or fix some bugs, something like that.
Okay. Answer for that? Production?
It is
the word production means
like someone who developed it explains the production, or explains the client's requirement. Like a client gives a business model to you and the developer executes it, and then they give it how the production is running on it.
Maybe it's like a GitHub, like it is like a GitHub repository where the previous code is there and something like that.
Okay. Let me give you, in software, in the enterprises, we develop software, we test the software, we then put it to production and give access to users. So there are development servers where developers will have access to, they will deploy, and at that point it is not available for general public users. Okay, it's only inside the company, developers and whoever needs to have access, they have. So that is called dev environment, where it gets developed, the software gets developed. That's why the word development environment. Then once it is developed, the developers submit for testing. It's a testing team, totally separate team, or some of these people also participate in testing, but generally it has to be a separate team that will test the system for its requirements and usability. They will verify the requirements that were developed. First thing is, you need a system defining all the requirements of a system. Some of the requirements get developed and then given to test team, and then test team will certify, yes, they are working the way it was intended. Then if everybody agrees, then they will put that into production, which means there would be 3 servers, pretty much separated. One server, only developers have access. One server, test server, only testers have access. And then that file, that deployed code will move from dev to test, and then take that from test and put it into another server called production, where all the end users general public will have access to. This is the flow in an enterprise. Production is the end users. So if an end user faces a problem, how will they contact? They have to contact the company. How will they contact? So we have provided at Skillbanc a production support link. So if they click, it opens up a Zoom meeting, and then if you open that, right now you don't have to, you are already in this meeting. Cancel. You will be put into this meeting automatically, and somebody will be there to answer your problem. That is why the word production support. So any system, when you can't operate, you need help, you need to contact that company. So we have provided a link so to directly come in and join into this meeting. If somebody clicks, then they will come into this meeting. So we always have this meeting open. So at least one of the engineers will be there. Somebody will be always be there. So they will be able to answer that question user. Yeah, make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Totally, right? So what problem are we solving? Why we have production, dev, and test environments while we are developing the software?
It's like
Sai
providing
Kiran?
communication between the developer and the user and clarifying the doubts and basically providing a good service.
Because in enterprises, you don't want the same person to test who developed it. Okay, so if you developed it, okay, and you are only testing it, you will say, okay, everything is good. So somebody else has to say that it is good what you developed, right? So you have to separate the responsibilities of developing and testing. They are two different. So sometimes you get a job where you are a tester. That's your testing. Sometimes you get a job to develop. Sometimes you get a job to answer questions, production support. So if your job is to develop, you are a developer. If your job is to do QA, test it, so you are a QA person. So when you see job opportunities, they say job description, we are looking for a QA person. We are looking for a developer. We are looking for a project manager, program manager, production support, database administrator, production support, front end or what or not, it's a job. Production, dev, and environment. Separating the teams and separating the responsibilities and creating a flow so that the products are maintained, supported, and enhanced. Okay, so that's the production support. Okay, do you have any other question to ask? One more question to others? Let's quickly cover. We covered C1, C2. We covered complex and simple objects, display groups, create new, add new, search, production support, my projects, filtering the objects, lock, unlock, reward points, and then the stars, feedback, object ID. Anything else that we are missing? Tabs, we covered tabs. Private, public, we covered. Anything else? Can you think of any other question that you want to ask?
I think we covered everything, even the buttons and display groups. I think everything is covered, sir. I think the profile, yeah.
Excuse me, sir.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a question?
Yeah, yes, sir.
Share your screen and ask.
So I think there's one term here which is known as help text. Yeah, over here. Like, what is the use of this? Is a question. My question is, what is the use of this help text? Like, is this a help text? If yes, what is the use of it?
Help text basically help us to understand when a designer is designing, like a web developer is developing the class. So he gives the titles or else the field names according to his liking. So that might be understandable by some users and that might not be understandable by some users. So help text helps us to basically know what that specific class is for and what type of objects that the class is expecting.
Is that satisfying?
Yeah, yes, sir. And one more question is will every class have the help text, or only few classes will have?
Bhargav?
Sir, as far as what I've seen, the obvious class titles, they don't require any help text, wherein the ones which are like what the developer has thought, okay, this might confuse the end user, he has put the help text for those specific classes.
Absolutely. So every class has the potential to have an additional help text if required. Some are obvious or they are still in progress. That somebody is going to write some help text. When it is not necessary, we don't want to write it. When it is necessary, we want to write it. Okay, so that choice is there, and the system evolves. Always software systems evolve. So this is a mechanism that we provided. So the problem we are trying to solve is we want to give some additional context, additional information about that field. We are providing that help text. Yes. Okay, Bhargav, can you ask another question? If anything else is
sure, sir. I'll share my screen.
Yeah.
So just want to know the function of this eye icon. When I press this, I'm going into the certain classes, but I can't find the objects for those classes. Notes, task title. What is this used for?
Click on one of them.
I did, sir. Okay.
Click on follow. Yeah.
Click on task title. Okay, so that's the value.
Got it, sir.
So this is just a quick view of all the objects under that main object.
Yes, got it.
Okay. All right. Can you ask one more question to the team, if anything left?
No further questions from my side, sir.
Okay, then I have a question. Satvika, what is that button? Switch on, switch off. There, right there, on the top of C1.
Oh, there on the top, yeah. I'm not really sure. I haven't tried. I mean, I tried clicking it, but I did not find anything different going on. So I'm not so sure about it, sir.
All right, click on that. There's a switch. It's just above C101.
I'm sharing.
Top left corner, top.
Okay, got it, sir. The toggle switch.
Yeah.
Okay, and then switch it off.
It's like a lock, sir, say visibility, or if you leave your computer somewhere and you don't want to lock it or something.
Yeah, so that switch, because we sometimes now you annotate view options, click on view options, your zoom.
Yes, annotation is on.
Yeah, so you can draw and explain things, and you can do something. You can put circles, squares, and
so this is like a blank canvas, sir.
Yeah, it's like a blank canvas. You got a black canvas so that you can talk, and then once you talked, and you can clear, and then you get back to your object.
Okay, got it, sir. So this is just a basic blank canvas wherein we can.
Yes. Yeah. Those two buttons, one top on the right top, red double arrows down.
Just scroll down to the bottom.
Scroll to the bottom, scroll to the top.
Okay. Scroll down. go to current task grid. Current task grid. What are these updated by and updated on?
Updated by is the specific user who has updated the task, like wherein we switch on and switch off the task. So this task is currently created by me, but if I am assigned by any task, so the person who assigned me the task can know who has updated the task, like at the end,
Okay.
at the last, who has updated the task and when was it updated.
Okay, good answer. Hamsini, what's your understanding of updated by and updated on?
Yes, sir, I agree with him. So whoever is assigning us a task, they will know who is the person who least updated the task and when the updation happened.
Okay, I'm going to tell you guys in general terms. Every grid has an updated by and updated on information for each object. So who is the person and when updated that particular object? So since there is only one object, that object we are looking, current task object. So if you scroll to those 7 objects under task, I don't know whether we are showing updated by and updated on at the end or not. Scroll right.
Scroll right. Yeah.
You see here, this is telling me that first task is updated by Bhargav, and then third one is updated by Niharika at that point. Last touched. Every object is being modified by somebody. That's the concept. Okay. What is the definition of modifying an object? It means several things. It may not be directly, maybe sometimes you are indirectly modifying that object. So that time also, because of some action of a user, if this object gets touched, some information in this object gets touched, then that name shows up, that person's name shows up. So I can always tell who touched this object last updated by and last updated on. And there is also created by. Scroll left all the way. That's the created by user, and created on also is there. We are not displaying, but created by tells me that this task or this object is created by this person. And this will never change. This is a one-time thing. You cannot update it. If you created that object, that's it. Your name is stamped right there. So we use this information. Again, what the problem we are trying to solve by having these type of classes as part of every object. We want to know who created.
Accountable.
We want to know who last updated and when. If there is a problem, if there is a dispute, we want to track what happened and all. So we will be able to go back and who updated. All right, what is that X on the left top? Don't scroll anywhere. Don't scroll anywhere. What is that? Don't touch. Don't do anything. Okay, yeah, you can hover over if you want to see the help text. Scroll down. Whose screen am I seeing?
Okay. Sorry, sir, I was on mute. Okay. Sir, according to my understanding, what I feel like is this is like a location path of the different tabs, and wherein each tab has originated from the previous one. So if we close the current tab, we'll be moving on to the parent tab, the previous tab from where this tab has been originated from.
Scroll down. So now you see that X?
Yes, sir.
Okay, why we are showing that X?
Sir, what I feel like is it's just decreasing the user interface complexity, sir. If we are having like n number of tasks and if our page is too long and navigating towards the top, we still have these buttons, but this would make it easier. If we just close it, we'll just move to the previous tab. So easier user interface. More.
Yeah.
efficient.
So before this feature was introduced into the system, we had to go all the way to scroll top and then click on that X to close. So here we are just providing a user without scrolling all the way to the top. So what is the problem we are trying to solve here? We are trying to provide a easy mechanism, a better user interface. So the system evolves. This whole system, again, with the feedback coming from the users, we will keep evolving and make much more user friendly. But this interface is very crucial for all software engineers, because you guys have to understand everything in terms of objects and objects connected to other objects. And we are always manipulating objects. Objects have some identity, that IDs. And for communicating with humans, we need to have human names, searching with human names, but internally manipulating the objects, connecting, disconnecting with IDs. So it's a system that evolves, and it's an expandable system, because you see how the whole system is designed. When I talk, I'm always talking in terms of objects and classes. I'm not talking a specific thing, whether it is timesheet object, task object, or system timesheet object, or template object. I'm talking generically. So that helps me to conceptualize the system and enhance the features. And however you want to use it, you can use it by simply giving a specific class object type and then manipulating it, providing. So this is what Skillbanc system is. Excellent work, all of you. I'm so impressed. You guys understood the key terms, most of them. Maybe there are few more. So you can go over there, and then if you have any questions, feel free. But with this, we have established a protocol to communicate the Skillbanc team and you guys, new members to this project. You all now can communicate with one another with this vocabulary in place. The C1, C2. There should not be any confusion. Anybody, what is C1, what is O1, what is C2, what is O2, display groups, etc. And you should be able to filter the objects so that you will be able to find them easily by searching. You should be able to open them, close them, assign them to others so that they get access to that object, etc., etc. Questions? We are done. Thank you very much. And I will talk to you guys tomorrow.
Thank you, sir. Have a nice day.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you, sir.
Bye-bye.